Chapter 14. Practice and review. Number 1. Magnam partem ilarum urbium post multos annos vi et concilio capiebat. Well, since it begins with a magnam partem, we know that am and the em for this verb are signs of the accusative, singular, and in this case it's feminine. Ilarum urbium, those two words go together. Post multos annos, those two, that's a prepositional phrase. Vi et concilio, those two probably go together. Capiebat, now we get to the main verb. There is nothing in the nominative, so the subject is contained here in capiebat. So that is third person singular, imperfect, active, indicative. And what verb does it come from? Capio, capere, capi, captum. And this comes from the present stem, and that BA is a sure sign of the imperfect. He took, as I've said before, the imperfect can sometimes be translated by the simple past tense. He took what? Go to your accusative. A great part, genitive, of those cities, genitive plural feminine, post multos annos, after many years, vi et concilio. The simple ablative alone very often is the ablative of means or instrument, by means of force and by planning. So he took a great part of those cities after many years by force and by planning. These two here are the ablative of means or instrument. Another note, this urbium, this I is the I stemness, where the I stem properties come into play in the feminine nouns of the third declension. So urbium is an I stem noun that is the genitive plural ending. Ante Caesaris ipsius oculus trans viam cucurimus et cum amicis fugimus. So we have another sentence, doesn't begin with a noun. Ante Caesaris ipsius oculus. Oculos. Don't know what to do with this? Let's leave that alone right now. Trans viam. Okay, that probably goes together. Trans viam cucurimus. There's a verb. Et cum amicis fugimus. So here's a sentence. Again, we have no nouns in the nominative case, so therefore the subject is included in the verb. Cucurimus, we, and fugimus. Remember, curo, curere, cucuri, cursum. This duplication, this in the third principal part, very, very common, so that's a sure sign of the first plural, present perfect, active, indicative, and fugio, fugere, fugi, fugitum, also the same thing. Interestingly enough, fugio, let's take a look at fugio. Fugio, fugere, fugi, I believe it's listed as fugiturum. Too many letters. Fugiturum. The fugit could be either the present or the perfect. In this case, using context, we're going to call it the first plural present perfect. Active indicative. And we do that because cucurimus is the present perfect. Clearly, there's no dispute there. And fugimus there. Fugimus is likely the same thing. What do we do? Before, of Caesar himself, eyes. Very, very common in Latin. The ante is a preposition that takes the ablative, the accusative, and this sentence, the ante, oculus, and nestled in between the ante and the oculus is Caesaris ipsius. Before the eyes of Caesar himself, across the road, cucurimus, we ran, and cum amicis, fugimus, and with friends. This is a new ablative. It's the ablative of accompaniment. with our friends, in the company of our friends, we fled. Number 3. Nemo vitia sua videt, sed quisque illa alterius. One verb in this sentence, videt. Third person singular. Video, videre is your verb. Let's review that. Video, videre, vidi, visum. You're going to get that E because it is a second conjugation verb, as indicated by this long E there. Videre, that E is in the present. Present, active, indicative. Somebody sees. Who sees? Nobody. Nobody sees. Nobody sees what? Vitia. Vices. Accusative, plural, neuter. Nobody sees. What do you do with sua? It's the adjective that agrees with the vitia. Nobody sees his own vices. But, said, but, quisque, each, those, alterius. Very, very Latin construction, but each, the quisque is each, and it's nominative singular masculine. And you have to supply the verb from the beginning. Each sees those, meaning it refers back to those vices. Alterius, this is one of your unus nauta words. And in this case, ius equals the genitive of another. Nobody sees his own vices, but each sees those of another. Very, very Latin. They are not going to repeat videt again in the sentence. They're not going to repeat illa vitia in the sentence. If you feel compelled, you do so in English. Perfectly appropriate translation. Number 4. Monuitne nuper eos de viribus ilarum urbium in Asia. Monuitne, clear slime. This is a question, and thus the word order is different. Monuit. Think of your verb, moneo, monere, monui, monotum, and so you see that monuit comes from the third principal part here. So this is the perfect tense, third person, singular, present perfect, active, indicative. Nuper is an adverb, which means recently. Eos, the accusative, plural, masculine. De viribus, and we don't know where it says de viribus, and because the next word is a genitive, and genitives follow closely upon the word of which they're the genitive of, I'm going to put the parentheses to urbium. He warned, or has he warned recently, them about the strengths, this is your plural, ablative, plural, feminine, about the strengths of those cities in Asia. We have the urbium. Here's your I stem form of the noun. In Asia, ablative of place where. In Asia. Has he warned them recently about the strengths of those cities in Asia? Number 5. Ipsi autem libertatem civium suorum magna cum cura aluerant. We have a sentence that is a pattern we're more familiar with. Subject, verb. And hopefully by now you're training yourselves that ERA, perhaps I should highlight it, that ERA indicates that it is the pluperfect, third person pluperfect, third person plural, pluperfect, active, indicative. They themselves, ipsi, had nourished, autem means moreover, the freedom, accusative, singular feminine, the freedom of citizens, genitive, plural, feminine, masculine, and then suorum is the reflexive, meaning their own citizens, magna cum cura, with great care. The magna cum cura is your ablative of manner. You know this because people graduate magna cum laude. And in the ablative of manner, the cum goes in between, when there's an adjective, goes in between the adjective and the noun. Number 6. Nomina multarum urbium nostrarum ab nominibus urbium antiquarum Troximus. The subject, go to the end, Troximus. That X is a sure sign, traho, trahere, troxy, troctum. We have drawn or dragged. Drawn. What have we drawn? Here's our accusative, plural, neuter, the names. The names, a series of genitives. These genitives are going to follow closely right upon the heels of the noun, of which they're the genitive of. The names of many cities, of our cities. Ab nominibus urbium antiquarum. From the names of ancient cities. We have drawn the names of many of our cities from the names of ancient cities. I don't need to point out, but I will, the I stem qualities. Again, this is the only place in the feminine, masculine or feminine nouns, where that I stemness appears, the genitive plural. Number 7. Pars quium divitias capit, et per urbum ad mare cucurit. Right away, two verbs, capit and cucurit. What is the subject? Pars, nominative, singular, feminine. Part took and cucurit, ran. This duplication we've seen before of the perfect stem, cucurit, will help you right away to determine that this is the present perfect. Third, singular, present, perfect, active, indicative. Part, this genitive coming right on the heels of the noun, genitive, plural, feminine. Part of the citizens took, capit, took what? The riches, accusative, plural, feminine. And through the city, per urbem, ad mare, to the sea, ran. Part of the citizens took the riches and ran through the city to the sea. Number 8. Hodie multi nubes in caelo sunt signum irae acerbae deorum. Starts out with hodie, adverb, today. Multi nubes in caelo sunt. Clouds in the sky, sunt, are. Are what? Or what kind of clouds? Multi. Nubes is nominative, plural, feminine. Multi just agrees with that. Today, the many clouds in the sky are, sunt, just the third person, third plural, present, active, indicative, are a sign, nominative, singular, neuter, irae acerbae, genitive, singular, feminine, of the anger. What kind of anger? The bitter anger, deorum, of the gods. Today, the many clouds in the sky are a sign of the bitter anger of the gods. This chapter seems to be full of these genitives following closely upon the heels, as I said, of the noun that they are the genitive of. Number 9. Illud animal. Heri ibit cecidit, et se trans terram ab agro trahebat. Hope you know a couple of things. I hope you recognize right away in this verb the duplication, the cecidi. It comes from cado, cadere, cecidi, casum. The dictionary may list it as casurum. We'll get to that eventually. Cado, cadere, cecidi. Here now, you've had two chapters into the perfect tense. And you see that cecidi, that duplication in the third principal part, a sure sign of the perfect tense. That animal, the animal, nominative, singular, neuter. Illud modifies it. That animal, yesterday, adverb, there, adverb, fell. Third, singular, present, perfect, active, indicative. Again, in English, we are quite fine using the simple past tense for the present perfect. This is a one-time action. He didn't fall over time. He fell once yesterday. And himself across the land from the field dragged. Third person, singular, imperfect, active, indicative. This is not from the perfect stem, traho, because the perfect stem, trahere, has an X in it, troxy, troctum. And I think you see the difference here. The present perfect, he fell one time, over and done with, and he dragged himself, a good use of the imperfect. It took place over time. It's very a visually very great use of the perfect tense, present perfect versus the imperfect.